Hello students, once again welcome to our SST class with the subject History. We had started with our second lesson, Sources of History. In our last audio, we completed with the 2 points, that is material source and return source. We now are going to deal with oral sources. What are oral sources? Students, before starting with oral sources, you might have heard your grandparents or your mother singing some songs for you. These songs are what they are, can be termed as an oral source. These sources are the sources which are passed forward from generation to generation. OVs, folk songs, folk tales, and similar literatures is passed on from generation to generation by words of mouth. They are carried forward from one generation to other generation orally. This literature is not in written form. There is no written aspect related to it. Its authors are unknown. This type of literature preserved by oral tradition is called as the oral source, and it is called as the oral source of history. I will give you some examples of it. Do you know? There is an OV which is explained over here. पांडुरंग पिता रुक्मिणी माझी बाया आषाढ वारियेला पुंडलिक आला न्याया. So this is an oral OV that has passed from generation to generation, which explains that Panduranga is my father, Rukmini is my mother, and for this Ashadi Vari, Pundalika, who was the great devotee of Lord Vithala, he had come to receive me. This is what is explained in this OV. In this next folk song, if you see, Mahanagari Ujjani, लई पुण्यवान दानी तेथे नांदत होता राजा सुखी होती प्रजा तिन्ही लोकी गाजा वाजा असा उजनीचा इक्रम राजा. So this folk song, it tells about the glory of the Ujjain city this city and its prosperity and about its king. So this is how the explanation goes from generation to generation, or the folk stories, the folk songs that goes from generation to generation, which are not in written form. They are known as oral sources. Students, do you know that sources of Indian history are divided into 3 categories? You can see the table on page number 8 of your textbook. Material sources first is divided into 2 parts: artifacts, structural remains. Now in artifacts, it includes rock paintings, potteries, terracotta objects, beads, ornaments, sculptures, metal objects, coins, weapons, etc. Whereas structural remains that has remained from generation to generation, they include caves, houses, stupas, rock cut caves, temples, churches, mosques, pillars, etc. These all come together to be termed as material source, as we can find them around us. Now with return source. Return sources includes inscriptions on Harappan seal about which we are going to deal in next coming lesson. Vedic literature, Mesopotamian clay tablets, manuscript copies of Mahabharata and Ramayana, Jain and Buddhist literature, writings of Greek historian, travelogues by Chinese travelers. Students, travelogues means the travelers who visited India and they experienced about the India, their experience, what they wrote, that is called as travelogues. Books on grammar, Puranas and inscriptions. These all come into written sources. Now, what are oral sources? The Vedic, Buddhist and Jain literature of ancient India were preserved orally from generation to generation. It is now available to some extent in the written form. Even so, some OVs are still alive. These all are the oral composition which are used for writing history. All these oral compositions, they are now to some extent in the written form, but still they carry in the form of oral, mouth to mouth, that is termed into oral sources of Indian history. Now, let us see the fourth point, sources of Indian history. The ancient period of Indian history extends from Stone Age to 8th century. We learn about the Stone Age period of Indian history through the archaeological excavation. Excavation means the sites where these remains are found. Since script, the writing method was not developed at that time, so we do not have any written sources available of this Stone Age period. However, the information about the ancient period of India from 1500 BC onward can be derived, can be learnt or can be understood from Vedic literature. The Vedic literature was written down some 1500 BC. In the beginning, the Vedas were not in the written form. These Vedas, they were preserved orally. The technique of memorizing and reciting of Vedas were done. Later on, these Vedas were written down. Vedas and the post-Vedic literature, these are the important sources of Indian history. This includes Brahmanas and Upanishads, about which we are going to study in the next coming lesson. The epics such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Jain and Buddhist literature, plays, poems, stone and pillar inscriptions, travelogues, foreign travelers' experiences, these all together are the important sources, material sources to study the Indian history. Not only this, but archaeological remains, ancient monuments and coins found in the excavation, these are also the important sources to study the Indian history. Now, let us see the next point, precaution to be taken while writing history. It is very necessary that history has to be written in a very systematic and with the help of very accurate evidences, and so to write this it is very necessary to take certain precautions. These precautions were taken into consideration while considering some resources to write history. A written document cannot be said authentic just because it is old. It is very necessary that these documents should be authentically examined, critically checked as to who wrote it, why it was written, when it was written, etc. Based on that, the conclusion can be drawn regarding various genius documents have to be taken into consideration. They are checked and once again cross-checked and corroborated with one another. Corroborated means taken into consideration or sequence-wise thought upon. Such a critical analysis is to be done. That is very important while writing the history. So, these were the precautions that are to be followed while writing history of any historical event or historical sequences. Students, there is a question for you. What would you do if you have found an old coin? Keep it to yourself? Give it to your parents? Or give it to a museum? Yes, what would be your answer? Yes, the answer is you have to give it to your museum. Yes, this was all about the sources of history and the sources of Indian history. In our next class, we will be starting with our next chapter. Till then, thank you.